There we are. Let's do this.
No.
I am unmuted and I am ready to roll. Yeah, I think it is your ludicrous amount of dice versus my 4.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
Right? And I still roll pretty well, but we'll see. You're rolling 11.
Woo!
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can see that the highest I rolled was a 9, which is still really high. I think that's the thing
Yeah.
with Sorcerer dice that I think is interesting, is you can have these situations where you're rolling 11 dice versus 4, and you can still lose. You can lose really big. It's kind of like Burning Wheel in that sense. But, like Hunger Games says, the odds are ever in your favor. So, but no, not this time. This time you got 3 successes, which is a whole lot. And yeah, do you want to tell me about how you kill your recently met brother
Yes.
as he comes in with a yeah, he brought a dagger to a sword fight.
To a sword fight, yes. I think I don't even toy with him. I don't even play. There's just enough time for me to tell him, I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry that your father put you to this, right?
Yeah.
That your father groomed you, right? For it all to be for naught, right? And then I think with the Demon Claymore, right? I split him from the top of his head all the way. I cut him right on through like a melon, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure he realizes what has happened to him, right?
Yeah.
When he separates or splits apart.
Love it.
Maybe it's gross, but it's not icky, sticky, bloody. Maybe the sword drinks up all the fluids.
Okay.
Right? So it's not so it's not a splatterfest. I don't know.
Oh wow, yeah, it's just kind of a dry husk.
Yes, when it hits the ground, right?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Um
Yeah. I'm digging that. I'm totally digging that. Dictionary of Moo has such touching family stories. Yeah, I think I love the idea that you cut through him and he falls into these 2 dry husk pieces that fall like 2 pieces of an ancient mummy on either side.
right.
What was moments ago a virile young man is now gone. And I think your father looks up and maybe like a pattern that is on the sword, like, some kind of, etching in the metal, or the way that the cross guard comes up is now like scarred into him.
Nice. Yes.
And it's some kind of like spiral.
Right.
And
I like that.
Yeah, and he looks down at that and looks up at you, and he stands up and says, and I think you can see like your father's brothers and siblings and sisters and cousins and your siblings are all looking at your father like, let's kill this son of a bitch. You don't kill family. And he says, my friends, my tribe, let us put Hamu in a place of honor, because he was the first to die in the crowning of a new Khan of Khans. It is no secret why we have been making so many weapons. It is no secret why we have been putting ourselves in debt to the great Witch King's banks, and while we have been gathering thralls in such numbers, it is not I who will be the Khan of Khans. It is my son, the spawn of a great desert demon who has brought a fell blade into our midst. So do not think of this as kinslaying. Think of this as a scarring that Hamu could not tolerate. Hamu was too weak to weather the sword's touch. And I think like he shows like where, you scarred him. And yeah, I think like no one's going to jump anyone right now, but you can see in the crowd, it's like, what the fuck is he saying? Like, it's a lot like, yeah, people are going to like go back to their tent and get out of your view before they like start chatting with one another about what the hell is going on here.
Right. And what to do next.
And he says, let's feast. And, thralls start bringing in food, and your father hugs you close, and you can smell him. And I think smell is a big link to memory, right?
Yes.
So it brings back a lot.
Yes.
And you can tell me if there's anything specific, but if there's a specific memory that it kind of triggers, for lack of a better word. And he says, like, I can feel the demon's power flowing through this scar, and I will earn that power. I will earn the right to have such an honor.
I think I remember from the smell. I think I remember. If we cut to Marduk's memory, I think you've got a point of view of someone on hands and knees, right? As a kid, like crawling. And I can see my father's feet in sandals, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're playing a game or something, right?
Oh, wow.
I think I think that's what's happening, right? And but then I stifle that, right? As my dad is hugging me and he says this to me, right?
Yeah.
And when he's done, I say, "Don't disappoint me."
Oh shit!
Right? I say that to him. I want to go check on the thrall that was 3/4 beaten to death.
Yeah, love it. He's been kind of dragged out of the ring, and there are other thralls from that tribe seeing to him, and you hear him say, like, through his he here's what he does. Here's a gruesome fact I just learned recently, and so I'll share it and we'll use it in the game. And when I watch MMA, there's a thing that happens where if a fighter gets his nose broken in such a way, they want to blow their nose, right? Because like there's this weird blood clot thing going on. But if they do, their whole face puffs up. Like they can't blow it out because otherwise they get it causes their whole face to inflame. And so no one told this poor thrall that. And so he like blew out the chunks, and like his eyes are closed, and like his head is just, you said something like a melon. Yeah, his head is just like somebody dropped a melon on the ground, and he's clearly like an excellent warrior, and for back at his tribe, but he just got outclassed today, and Hamu wasn't having it, and he got beaten. He got beaten badly, and he says to one of them, like, I just need some water. And they're like, we can't get any till the till we get the dregs when the meal is over.
Right.
And they see you and like have no idea how to deal with you, right? They just they have not a clue.
I say to them, even in the most forbidden, profane tablets, when we take thralls, it says to take care of those thralls, right? As if they're your own kids, your own children. And there's a reason for this. Take him to Hamud's room or Hamud's tent, right? That is now mine.
Yeah.
Care for him, feed him, make him well, and I will teach you to fight.
Yeah. Are you saying this like to all the thralls?
Well, whoever's around him,
yeah.
Right. So it's not a secret, but who's ever, I'm not trying to make a show of it, but whoever's nearby would hear it. But whoever's taking care of him hears this. But I want them to take care of him, take him to wherever Humud resides. I'm taking over that residence.
Yeah.
And give him first aid, take care of him, feed him, give him water, nurse him back around.
Cool. Yeah, they bring him back. They pick him up and they take him to Hamud's tent. And I think one of them says, as they're going, like the others just pick them up and go, and one stays back and says to you, "What should we tell Hamud's husband?"
That he is now my husband.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. So we are absolutely on the same page.
Right, I was going to say, I was at least I'm telling the other thrall. I say that isn't that how?
Right.
Our custom?
Yeah,
isn't that our way?
I think like the only reason he didn't know that is because he's from a different tribe. I think this is like your tribe's way. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I think there's like a plurality of cultures and ways of doing these things. Right. And he says, he nods and says, "Oh, okay," and heads off. And yeah, I think we've got the next interesting scene. Definitely, right? I mean, clearly, your brother's husband, I think you meet him as the prophets who definitely like don't make eye contact with you. There are a couple of prophets that travel with this tribe because it's a big one. So there are actually two, and they just don't look at you. But they're busy getting Hamud ready for his funeral pyre, and I think like you're there, and then Hamud's husband shows up, and he says, I'm Jarmo.
I'm Marduk.
I hear that we are now married.
You sound surprised. Isn't that our way?
I am surprised that my husband is dead. I thought today he was going to secure his heir and be the next Khan. I did not think that a demon-blooded, long-lost sibling was going to wander out of the waste.
Watch your tongue. Is this how you would speak?
Is it not true? If Hamud had demon blood, I would.
Well, I'm not Hamud. I'm your husband.
You do not like speaking of your blood this way?
You don't know me like that.
My apologies.
But you will. Did you love Hamud?
he smiles and says, I did. I did.
That's good. Over time, you will love me like you love Hamoud.
I hope so. Hamud was simple. I don't think you are simple.
Nah, I'm not. But you can count on me like you can count on change. That's what happened to you today. And you didn't
Nice.
count on it.
Nice. Change is often very painful, very difficult.
It's how we grow. I may be a better husband than Hamoud. Time will tell. I will leave you to grieve.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's cut it right there. I don't want any more of that. That is dope as hell. Yeah. Yeah, I think your father says, as it's late, and he says, you should sleep well. Tomorrow I will take you around the camp and show you what preparations we have.
Maybe. You know I'm not Hamoud.
Yes, I know that. I think everyone knows that.
I will hear you out tomorrow.
Good. Yeah, and I think he absently itches at that scar as he's walking away, and
That's fantastic.
and
Yes.
walks away. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to do before that? Is there? Well, we got the thrall in the tent.
Right.
Yeah, I think through grieving things that Jarmo is going to be gone for a couple of days. Like he's not going to come back to the new spouse until the fire is out, and that can take a couple of days, especially when they're camped.
Right.
If you were on the road, he would ride with you. But even then, he could probably ride with someone else for a little while.
Right.
As depending on how much mercy you wanted to show. The sword feels like it spent a lot to do what it did, but it also is rather content with
Nice.
you can feel its weight is easy in your arms. It's not heavy. Matter of fact, it feels lighter than it did when you first drew it.
Nice.
And I think when you go into the tent, the thralls who you talked to, the half a dozen of them, and the one that Hamoud beat the hell out of, they're all around him, and they're kind of like laying cloths on his face to kind of bring down the swelling. And he says, I think he rasps out, they've given him a little bit of water out of Hamoud's canteens. Mm-hmm. and he says, Hamoud was very strong. How did you best him?
Hamoud is physically strong. I'm the firstborn. I will teach you this.
You will teach me what a firstborn means? I'm not sure I understand.
I will teach you to take what you want what is yours, to fight for your life, to live. I will teach you these things. You're more than a thrall. What's your name?
My name is supposed to be buried for a year and a day until I can go back to my tribe.
What should I call you? I won't call you thrall or slave.
It is up to you to name me.
You rest up. We will feed you. For your time here, you will be my bodyguard. I will train you.
Cool.
In 3 days, you will name yourself.
Nice.
Uh,
And Jay, let me just like put this out here. If the thrall slave stuff gets to be too much, just tap out.
Oh, no.
And be like, hey,
Right.
Jed, like you're too, like you could just say like too far. Nope. Like just like nope. Like,
and I will. No, we're good. Yeah, we're good. We haven't hit. We're not there.
Yeah. No, I know. You initiated it, but I just wanted to like put that right out there. That like you can like be like, nope, can't do that. Can't do that. You know, if you were, if it's cool. Good. I just wanted to add that out there. The tap out is in play, and we'll just rewind and figure it out. He nods at that, you know, at the idea of naming himself, and I think the rest of the thralls kind of, you know, get things ready, and they say like, "Is there anything you want before you bed down for the night?"
Just to keep an eye out. I'm not. What's the word? Oh, my words are gone. My point here isn't freedom for everyone. I've pissed off a lot of people tonight, so I need eyes that are on my side. Look out for me, and I will look out for you.
Nice. They nod at this, like, fuck yeah, like, you know, that they heard you say that you're giving, you know, their friend back, you know, his own, like, you know, letting him choose his own name. They're down with this. They're down with this. Matter of fact, I think roll your humanity +1.
Woo!
Let's do like a humanity gain roll, because I think that's a cool thing.
Nice.
I'm gonna remove what we're doing and then do a share.
And I think I'm
get back to the dice
3?
screen.
Yeah, I'm at 3.
Let's get back to that. Cool. And I just roll what your current. And I think like actually roll your humanity +2, because I think all that was pretty dope.
+2 more?
Yeah.
All right. And there it is.
And how much is your humanity right now? I'm sorry.
It's 3. It's 3 right now.
Okay, it is. Okay, I figured. Okay. Cool.
Oh.
So it's tied. So I think your humanity does not go up, right?
Right.
But it is a tie. So I think I'm going to take that result as like a 7 to 9. Like they're intrigued, right? But they're not they're not ready to like swear oaths or anything yet.
Right.
But they are intrigued as hell. Like who wouldn't be at this fucking, glorious weirdo who has just wandered in and split heads. So yeah, cool. And I think as a matter of fact, they wake you up in the night and they say, 2 of your siblings and 7 of your cousins are 2 of your siblings got together a bunch of your cousins, and they are stringing their their bows, their horned bows, and they're coming.
Wow. All right.
I think like they wake you up quietly,
Right.
you know, and whisper this, and I think you can see that like wherever your sword is, they are like away from that. Like they're ready to get. They're totally comfortable like whispering in your pointy ear, and they're not
Right.
going fucking near that sword. Like they are not going near it.
Nice.
And I think wherever, you know, wherever it is in the tent, you know, leaning against something, it is once again kind of thrumming with power as it has rested after giving you that badass boost. I think it has, you know, drunk. It has digested your brother's blood and your father's blood, and it has come back to itself. But what do you want to do about your about this posse coming? Yeah, and I think there is like a bow, you know, hanging from a peg in the, you know, the tent center pole,
Right.
and you know, and there's there's some arrows from where, you know, for that Hamoud made and fletched. He was a hunter, and so like that's here, as is the sword, you know, and etc. Yeah.
I ask if the thralls know how to use a bow.
They nod, but they say we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to pick up a weapon for a year and a year and a day.
Says who?
The gods of war.
Oof, I was hoping he would say my father, the Khan.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want to go that far.
I love that that answer was really important. Good. That's cool.
Yeah, I was setting up who do you think my father answers to?
Right.
All right, no, that's good. That's good. What am I going to do about a crowd? With arrows.
Yeah. So one of the things I don't want to like demystify the sword. One of the things that the sword can do is bestow upon you the cover Khan of Khans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm throwing that out there. I don't know if that would be useful. I don't know if whatever, but like that is something you can do. It doesn't mean you can just command people. You still have to.
Right.
But I'm just throwing that out there. If there is a skill or something or something you think the Khan of Khans would know, that you think might be helpful, like that's in the wind.
No, that's good. That's good. So my thought is maybe Marduk goes over to equip his sword. He grabs his sword down, right?
Yeah.
But he knows, right? If they've got distance and they've got bows, right? And if they're spread out, that's a rough gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the Khan of Khans is that manifests as some type of possession thing, right? I'm thinking maybe I talk to the crowd in the Khan's ancient language. Maybe that's how I talk, right?
Okay.
Trying to get them to see that I am truly the Khan of Khans, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that buys me something.
Cool.
With my cousins, with them. I don't consider them my family.
Oh wow.
They're gonna have to earn that.
Yeah. So are you like grabbing the sword and walking out? What's that all looking like? Like what are you doing?
Yeah, so I grab it. I think if we're a TV show and we're an HBO, right?
Yeah.
I'm shirtless, right? And I've just got the lower tunic on, a wrap around my legs.
Yeah.
And of course I'm chiseled and cut.
Yeah,
And,
of course.
and I walk out. I
I mean,
think
you can't have this like, you can't have your Marduk not be chiseled and cut. They can go to HBO Max and watch Jason Momoa like all.
yes,
They can watch him be in first season of Game of Thrones all day long. Like you've got to give him
yes, all
something.
day long. Yes,
You got to give him something. And so yeah, I love it. Cool. Yeah, you walk out shirtless, sword in hand.
yes.
Cool.
I think in the ancient language of the Khans,
Yeah.
I start going down the roll call of all the Khans before me. Right. I think that's how that starts. Right.
Nice.
And I say it loud enough so they can hear me.
Nice.
And any of them that have been schooled or indoctrinated, right? They know the significance of that list.
Yeah.
And that language. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
That's awesome. Yeah, so with cover, it's pretty awesome. I did not know this, but it bestows upon you all the skills of that title with the power of the demon, which is 7. So you don't like add the demon's power, but you get to operate with that dice pool.
With that power.
So yeah,
nice.
So I think we're basically making like a will roll, or it sounds like a lore roll actually. I think you're making a lore roll. So it's 7 dice versus your lore, and let's make a roll, and I think it's going to be those 7 dice versus what's your current lore? 3?
4. My lore's 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, let's get to it. Clearing them.
All right. Done. Oh.
No. If you roll 7 dice.
Oh,
right.
I'll add 3 to these then.
Yeah. You're operating with the skill of that's the power of the demon. So 3 more.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, my highest was 7.
Yes, nice. I like that it sorts these dice. That makes this job easier.
It does. It totally does. It's nice. It is actually really nice. I mean, I should have asked you I should have talked to you more about what kind of effect you were looking for, but it seems like you were just looking to like talk them down and like show them, no, I'm in charge, right?
Right, I'm in charge, right?
Yeah. So I think like
woe to you for cutting me down if you try to.
Yeah, and I think you walk up and all of them but one like put their bow, like no, they all put their bows down. You got 2 successes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Scratch that. I think they all put their bows down and put the arrows back. You know what? They don't even do that. They take the arrows and they put them in a pile and say, and like kneel in front of the pile of arrows. And one of them is like trying to light a fire. And they say, we are sorry, great Khan of Khans. We didn't know that you spoke the ancient tongue. We thought you were a demon that had invaded our house. We will burn the arrows that were pointed at a Khan.
I nod, and then Marduk says, that is all well and good, but it is not enough.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I think like you say it is not enough, like right as the fire catches, right? It's like that is not enough, right? Like the fire catches and like and I think like it lights you from underneath, right? So it's just this straight up it's a straight up demonic lighting. And all all that CrossFit this actor was doing is totally paying off at this point, and and that's just me making fun of 300. That's all that is. Just in case anyone was wondering, like, is he making fun of CrossFit? Is he making fun of actors? Who's he making fun of there?
What is
I
that?
am making fun of 300 is what I'm doing, and the making of. Yeah, I think it lights it lights them, and they're like, and yeah, that is not enough, and they wait to see what would be enough, right?
Marduk says, "Who is the eldest among you?"
Nice.
Don't make me ask again.
They I think it's an older woman. There's an older woman with gray hair, and she says, she stands and says, "I am Opus. It was I who gathered them. They're young. I did it. I'm your father's sister. I did it because I thought you were a demon in our home."
You saw what happened to Ahmad earlier?
Yes, I saw it.
Do you understand what that was about? You understand it was not about Ahmad.
It was not about you killing your father's favorite so that you could take the heir.
No, that was about disappointment.
That's such a good fucking line. Oh, geez. Disappointment in what?
In my father. And he should not disappoint me again. You heard me say these words to him, yes?
I did, but I do not understand.
Do
why
not disappoint me again.
I understand
I
the
say this to
words.
you.
I understand the words, Great Khan. I do not understand why your disappointment did not manifest in Hamud being scarred and your father being riven in two and dried out like a husk from a pyramid, ready to take us to the stars.
That will be your fate if you disappoint me again. Then there will be another elder that will take your place. And the same will happen to them if they disappoint me. And so on till you get it right.
And what is getting it right?
This isn't it. Are we a tribe? Or not? Did the Khan not say what was to happen here? What's going on here? Yet you show up at my tent?
We thought he was misguided. He has been misguided before.
Is he not the Khan?
You scarred him like he was one of your blood guard.
He and I are now family. We weren't family before. We're family now. You are not my family yet. Do not disappoint me.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my goodness. She nods.
But we can be. Not like this. I don't know what this is.
I will not disappoint you again, Marduk.
I think Marduk turns and goes back into his tent.
Yeah, yeah. They slink back home. Yeah,
I check in on my nameless thrall.
yeah,
Jay the player, my intent is I know that my demon sword is about conquest
yeah,
and killing my enemies.
yeah.
But I want to befriend this thrall because I know I also have to mark,
Scar your friends.
scar my friends, right?
Yeah,
And so, knowing I'm doing that, I'm also hoping to give the thrall some tools to. And it's an exchange. I saw him get beat, so I'm hoping I can give him something in exchange because I don't know what marking is going to do, right?
right.
I already feel guilty, but right, I'm going to do it,
Yeah.
right?
So
So
I think you do. I guess the question is, do you want to know? Are you interested in like figuring this out? Like what
I think so.
marking does?
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I think so.
Yeah. I think you're studying the sword and like trying to read the etchings on it and make a will roll or make a lore roll
Uh huh.
versus the demon's will. And let's see if you
Oh, that's
can
perfect.
learn more
Yeah,
about
that's
it.
perfect. I like that. My will is 4.
Cool. Don't roll yet. Let me get to the
Okay.
screen. Let me get the dice up.
Nice.
This system isn't perfect yet. But we're getting there.
And so what I see is what I think is as I'm checking in on my nameless thrall, I'm
Yeah.
not really checking in on him.
Yeah.
I'm more so letting the sword know that this is my chosen
Yeah.
for marking, right?
Cool.
It's more about that than taking care of the
Yeah.
thrall.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, love it. Love it. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Let's roll and see what happens as you study this blade.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. So, you succeeded. It's by one, but I think you don't need a whole lot of successes to get this done. I think
Right.
you needed the successes that you got. And the when you mark them, you are able to like bestow the cover upon them, con guard, right? So
Right.
you can do that and allow them to be con guard with like this immense amount of power when they operate. And then you can also like give other you can bestow the armor upon them, you can bestow the stamina boost upon them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another step beyond that. I think if I was being a shitty GM, I think I would be like, "Oh, but you don't know, but you got a success, so I'm going to tell you." And I want to tell you. I don't know. Are we going to play this again? I hope so, maybe, but who knows? The other thing that this sword can do is spawn, and like you can eventually, when you have given this sword enough conquest, it will spawn weapons for your con guard.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And then you can like bestow upon them, something other than a scar. And then, yeah. I haven't figured out. I think those might be demons too, but I haven't figured that out yet. So we'll see. So awesome. Yeah, and I think like
And
you
heck
learn
yeah,
this.
we're playing this again. We're for sure playing this again.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Love it. I'm totally down. I don't think we've we have not finished this kicker by a long fucking stretch. So I'm totally down playing this again. I'm very excited. I'm so excited to be playing Sorcerer. I've been trying to get folks to play it for ages, and I think the cool thing that I like that you're doing, just to like take a second, is that I feel like Marduk has he has humanity and like kindness to him too. Like he's
Right.
he's a total badass, but he's also not like a raving monster.
Right.
And I
Right.
like that. I like that we're seeing softer sides of him, and yeah, I think that's really cool. I feel like the problem with Sorcerer, and quite frankly, the problem with the Dictionary of Mu, is that I think people see Sorcerer as being too dark, and
Right.
that like you're playing villains, and I don't think that's necessarily so.
Right.
And I think the writing I did for Dictionary of Mu was just too, like, if I could go back, I would have given like a little bit more light, because it is supposed to be a game about hope, right? Like
Right.
that's what like humanity is hope. So
Well, I was going to say, I read that in
yeah,
there at
yeah,
the beginning, right? And I'm like, ah, okay, I'm with that. I'm good with
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah,
It's
but
tough love.
where's the hope, Jad? Where's the damn hope? Yeah.
It's not in here.
You didn't seem to write it after 12 hours of driving a cab 16 years ago. You didn't seem to be finding a lot of hope in the world, and you came home and wrote a lot about spiders and head trauma, and not a lot of hope. So anyway, awesome. Yeah, I think, and you're doing this, I think before dawn, uh, and the the thrall wakes up and kind of like his head is still a swollen mess, but his eyes can open a little bit, because of the rags that the cold wet rags they put on his face, and he says, so that is the blade that killed Hamud, huh?
I killed Hamud.
Of course. I mean, without you, the blade would have just fallen to the ground. I don't think the blade killed him, but I understood. I'm sorry.
Nothing to apologize. We just need to be clear. The blade is a tool, right? It is we that use these tools for ill or for good.
Flesh is stronger. Yeah. I'm following.
Today's a rest day for you, so there's no work for you today. I will see to it that the tribe understands this.
How are you showing kindness to me and showing your harsh side to your kin?
Kindness, harsh side? It is all Marduk.
I think he laughs and like it just hurts. Like like he laughs a little bit and like it hurts in his ribs, it hurts in his face, right. It hurts all the fuck over. And he takes a rag and he puts it back over his face. Yes. And he says, "Thank you, thank you for the rest.
There's work for you to be done yet, just not today."
Thank you, Marduk.
And whatever I need to do to make sure he's undisturbed so he can rest.
Totally.
That he is part of my household.
Yeah. Yep. Not a problem. I don't think. You've got that. You've made that clear. Yeah, I think one of your father's younger children, a little scrappy girl, runs up, and she's got her hair in like braids tight to her head, so that when she rides, it doesn't get in her face. And she is like 11, and is all like feet and elbows, right? She's just she's going to be big, but right now she's just an awkward giraffe of a little girl. And she says, you know what? She says it defiantly. She says, "The Khan sent me to get you." And like, she says it like, what are you going to do?
Right,
like,
right.
What now?
So I say to her mockingly, defiantly, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And what if I don't want to go? What if I just stay here? Are you going to make me?
She puts her hands on her hips and she knows you're fucking with her, right? And she says, the Khan gave this chore for me to do. I don't want to fail. If you were to stay here, I could make it very uncomfortable for you to be here. I would bring the spiders over here while they were shitting, and I would have them shit all around your tent so that it smelled so bad that you would have to go for a walk and see the Khan.
That is interesting. You work with spiders like that.
Yes.
Tell me about these spiders. And I walk toward her like she's going to escort me
Yeah.
to the, like we're walking along to back to the
Yeah,
Khan.
yeah. And she says, they tolerate us, but they see us as food. You have to prove that you're not food all the time. Can't turn your back on them. When it gets cold, they burrow into the ground and make a nest there. If there's a storm, that's what they'll do. That's why it's valuable to have them, because they detect storms. When they burrow, it's almost safe to be near them. You could go down into their burrow and cuddle with them. They're smart, but they're like, she's like looking for the right metaphor, and then she says, it's like binding a demon.
Oh, is it now? Like binding a demon.
Yes, like it will bite you if you turn away from it. And I think she says this like, as she's the first she's the first person on camera who has no idea that your sword is more than it is, right? She has
Right.
she's still fucking 11, and she has no idea that like this sword is something arcane or is
Right.
demonic. And she says, I think she just hasn't noticed that it is or she has like a blind spot for that stuff, or she's 11, and she says, yeah, it's like they're dangerous, but I think they're worth the risk.
And how many demons have you bound?
I have not bound any demons. I just think they're like demons, and that they want to eat us, like demons do. Was your mother a demon?
That's what they say. I bet you your mom's a demon too, though.
She smiles and she says, she has been called thus.
It's like that.
Nice. That's awesome. I had her name and now I lost it. And I really liked the one I had.
Yes. I kind of like her, so we need to keep her around.
Yeah. Her name is no, I already used that one. No. Her name is Beltis, Beltis, and I'll put this in the Jamboard.
Nice.
Yeah. And yeah, she brings you to her father, who I think is near one of the spider pens. And one of the shepherds is like foaming at the mouth and is is like having a fit, and as you get there, your father says he was bit by one of the spiders, and Beltis says, which one? And he points to one like that's on a hill and is clearly like agitated, right? And it's like on a hill, and it is like it's got two of its its appendages up, like, do not fuck, in the international spider language of do not fuck with me.
Right,
I'm an agitated fucking giant spider. Why would you do this? And
right.
and uh and she says, why would she? And I think she says, Moon is a good spider. She wouldn't hurt anyone. And like he like shakes his head at her and says, she did hurt him. She was like, he must have done something. And I think your father looks at you and says, should we give him mercy or let the venom work its way through him?
Do we have anti-venom or something to I mean, is this a foregone conclusion? This guy's going to die from this venom because we don't have a way to
Yeah,
counteract it?
I think like you would know that the venom would have needed to be given out like right away. Like it's
Gotcha.
if you're here talking about it, then it's been too long, and
Gotcha.
he's got like 2 painful days ahead of him.
So I ask Belthus, are you sure the spider was provoked? This is important.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's awesome. She stands firm. She puts her chin up a little bit and nods.
And so then I say to the Khan, then there's no mercy for this man. Are these your steeds? You rely on these animals, right?
He nods. When he nods and he looks proud, do you take it as condescending, or are you like, oh, I just made my dad proud, like I said the right thing?
I think if he's nodding and he looks like he's proud, I think I take it as condescending, like he doesn't understand what's happening here, what's going on here, right? I'm
Nice.
not asking, right? I'm not. Yeah, it's not like good for you. We've got spider steeds. I'm like, yes, we have spider steeds, but you've got this bonehead that wants to provoke them. That's
Yeah.
not how you get good steeds, right?
Yeah.
And so he got what was coming to him.
So
and
we let his insides turn to goo.
Well, that's what he wanted. Otherwise, he wouldn't have provoked the spider. He asked for that.
Yeah, I think he turns to the other wranglers and says, let him sit. And one of them says, what should we do with the other? What do we do with this? And like they point to Moon, who is this giant white spider up on a hill, and or kind of gray, I guess. And Beltis says, leave him alone. Let him come down of his own accord. And when he does, don't bother him. Khan, you have to show these spiders who's boss. If they sense weakness, they'll eat more. And like Beltis shakes her head and says, that's not how anything works. And the Khan says, it's how some things work.
I asked Beltis again. Are you certain?
Yes. I think like there's no hesitation this time. This time she's
Right.
just, yeah.
So I look at the con because he's annoying me now, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
said, yeah, I give him that annoying look, and I'm like, that's not how this works.
What is that?
It appears that you don't recognize you have a wrangler in young Beltis, and she understands these spiders better than the ones that are getting bit.
Beltis has interesting ideas about the spiders, but she is an 11-year-old girl.
And
And perhaps she will grow up to be a wonder to lead the Wranglers and see over our herds while we do war. Beltis says, I want to be a warrior. Tst, the adults are talking. And she says, but for now, she will run errands as a child, even a precocious, wise child. He looks at her, who was raised by a brutal woman. And like, I think they both smile because they know that, it's like uh, a pet name for his wife.
right. Uh, what's it to me if you lose more wranglers? I don't care.
Very well. Leave the spider alone. Just take a wide berth around her for the day. What if we need to go to war? Then we won't ride that one, will we?
Right.
Yes, Khan. And I think like you walk away, and he like he's going to show you the wells, and
Mhm.
he does up his sleeve and shows you the scar that I think is like right near his like elbow joint, inside of his arm. And he says,
Nice.
and he says, this is the mark of a con guard.
Is that a problem? You are my father.
Yes.
I say it like a possession. You are my father.
Right, right, right. Love
Yeah.
it. Someday you will be Khan of Khans. But until then, and even after that, I would wish to be the Khan of this tribe. And I am.
Are you?
I'm not asking. I'm telling you, I am.
Does your tribe know this? That's what I'm asking.
If you continue to flaunt the demon you brought into our camp and continue to speak the Khan of Khan's tongue in the night, then there will be questions.
If I were Khan, my people wouldn't take action without my permission, even if they're scared. One day, scared tribesfolk might kill a Khan.
When you are Khan of Khans and your circle grows beyond your cousins and brothers, as my circle has grown, someone or someones or a faction under your control are going to act without your permission to do something that they know you don't want done. And please know on that day, if I am alive, I am laughing. And if not, I hope you hear my laughter on the wind as my ghost laughs. Leading is not knowing that no one will ever act against you. Leading is dealing with it when they do and making it dealing with it when they do and making it not worth their while to go against you directly when it's important to you. They went to spill your blood last night and you did what a Khan would do. It was excellent. I'm just saying, do not make the message more muddled than it already has to be.
As close as he will let me, I pat him on the belly and I say, spoken like a true fat man caught in the needle. Show me these wells.
What was the last thing you said? Show me these
Show
wells.
me the wells.
Yeah.
Show me these wells.
Yeah, and yeah, I think yeah, he shows you the wells, and I think like the most trusted cousins are well guards, and yeah, as is usual. And he says there is one other member of the camp we should meet. And he goes to this other tent, and I think it's made out of an entirely different type of material, right? Like the other tents are made out of like hides from certain types of herd beasts and chitin from the spiders, and this tent is like a goth kid's dress. It's just black and striped, and the blacksmiths are lining up to get ingots to work and to collect their gold for their pay. And your father guides you to the front of the line and watches them all take their ingots and make their and it gets handed out. And I need a good fucking name for this guy. I need a good one. Yeah. He says, this is the representative from Moo's bed, from whom we have taken out a sizable loan so that we have enough steel to arm our people. And I think that's definitely something you would have noticed is like the arrowheads in camp are like all steel. And like,
nice. Gotcha.
That's something you would have noticed as they like burned arrows, is like they burned the arrows, and then like when they were done, like the cousins came back, somebody came back and like took the arrowhead and like was like, no. Like, I know they were pointed at a Khan, but they've been burned. They learned their lesson. They can get reused. Yeah, and I think like I had a name and I walked away from it to describe shit, and then I lost it. He says, I think he's got like a black cloak and is has not been out in the sun very much and is ghastly pale. You can see his veins. And he says, I am Balathu of Moo's bed. I am one of the Witch King's consorts. I represent my husband's banking interests in the wastes. We've invested quite a bit in your father, and I'm looking forward to telling him about his eldest son. We did not know of your existence.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say to that. uh,
Yeah, and I think like your father likes that you're speechless. I
right,
think
right, right,
I think you know, it shows that he's done something that you didn't see coming. And he says, Balathu, have you had your have you broken fast yet? And he says, no, I have not. And he says, I have, unfortunately, but my son has not. He came right from his tent to here. Would you mind breaking fast with him? And he says, of course. And Balathu says, I will go prepare our meal. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better, Marduk. And I think like, you know, he kind of closes the tent and
right.
I think like your father kind of like, you know, like kind of gets like not kind of grabs you like by the back of the head somewhat
Right.
affectionately. And he
Uh-huh.
says, the old man has some tricks you didn't see coming, did you, Marduk?
No, I didn't realize how caught in the needle the fat man is.
Hmm. Fat man has some tricks up his sleeve yet. You're not the only one who can bind demons. Have a good breakfast.
Thank you. I'm starving.
Yeah, and I'm kind of tempted to end there. We've been at this for 2.5 hours. I think starting with like a Witch King's Consort meal might be a cool way to start the next game.
No, I agree. I like that.
I think that'd
I
be kind of
don't.
dope.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, what's he doing?
Right.
He's in deep, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
isn't. He
Oh
thinks
yeah.
he's doing great, but he's in deep.
Yeah, yeah, he is. He's totally
Oh,
is. The old
that's
man's in trouble.
fantastic.
That said,
Yes.
like you're walking around with a power 7 demon on your hip. You are also in deep, sir. So like father, like son, really. Uh like
I know
who's
because I'm
worse?
walking around. I'm like, man, in any minute, this demon sword is going to drop the other shoe, right?
Right, right,
And
right.
right.
Yeah, love it. Cool. Uh yeah, that was fun. I really like that. Thanks.
No, that was fantastic, man.
Let's
I appreciate
let's
you
do that
running this.
again. I believe we're gonna try to finish our Stars Without Number game with Misha in a couple weeks. But
Hmm.
you know, you and I will find a time when we can do this game, maybe on a different night, and make that as you say, make that a regular thing.
A regular thing.
Make that to quote to quote the Diceology podcast, which I
Yes,
will
that's fantastic.
to quote, and I will put a link to Jay's Jay's Patreon and Diceology and all of that. And I will also put a link to all my stuff in case the Dictionary of Moo is something you're interested in. All that's in the chat too. Thank you all very much for joining us. This was pretty awesome.
This was pretty awesome.
I'm definitely into Hero Logic. We're definitely Heroic Logic. We're definitely going to do more. I think we hit a good stride, and Pat, thank you very much for joining us again. Yeah, I'm glad you kept your cool, and Jay, thank you for you know I feel like the gaming lesson here is that like when someone bows out of a game, like that's an opportunity to be like, hey, let's start a B game, you know, let's do
Right,
something
right.
weird, you know, because
Yeah,
maybe this works, maybe it doesn't, but
right,
what's the worst thing that can happen? Like the best thing that can happen is we get an awesome game.
right.
And the Burning Wheel game that Sean and I played for years was totally a B game for our old Blaze in the Dark game, and then it like outlived it. So you never know.
Wow.
You never
I didn't
know.
realize that was a B game. Wow, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. So anyway, everybody have a B game, and do it. It's fun. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Anything coming up on Diceology that we should know about, or?
I've got 2 podcasts, 2 episodes in the editing room. Kira McGran,
Yeah.
and we talk about cyberpunk.
Yeah.
We talk about post cyberpunk. What does that look like? What does that even mean, right?
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. And then the other episode, Mateus from Free League and I talk about the 5th edition version of Simba Room, which is out on Kickstarter now.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Nice.
and I'm a big fan of Simba Room. The setting, it's got a very OSR feel to the mechanics.
Yeah, no, I love the setting. I
Yeah.
bought a bundle a couple months ago, and I was
Yes.
into it.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think about 5th edition? Like, does it work? Would you use normal Simba Room? Would you use Burning Wheel? Would you use something totally else?
So what had happened for me is a lot of when we were in person doing conventions, a
Yeah.
lot of people I would find you have people who buy Burning Wheel, but they never do anything with it, right?
Yeah.
They go through the book and they feel like it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Those folks I can get to the table and play,
Right.
right? So I would use the setting in Burning Wheel. That's the magic for me, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of times, a lot of folks don't want to take the jump. Or they're locked into 5th edition. And for me, if I'm going to play D&D, I like BX D&D over 5th edition.
Yep.
I feel like I got a lot more room to do things, to plug things in. It runs better for me. So I will talk them into Simba Room, the original version, because it's close, right?
Okay.
And a lot of folks will take that jump. But you still have some folks that are locked in. They like what they like, right?
Yeah.
I think 5th edition, it was the same thing with Lord of the Rings, the One Ring, right? A lot of folks wouldn't take the jump. They thought it was too crunchy.
Yeah.
But then the One Ring made a 5th edition, and I would run that, and I would fill tables. People would play it.
Wow.
And so
I'm
in.
I love Free Leagues. A lot of their game design decisions, I think, are always really interesting. So I'm just curious, like, what's going to be different,
Right.
Because like Simba Room does have that, like, I can have, I can get stabbed with a knife and then it's going to hurt. It's not going to be.
It's going to hurt. Yes.
Yeah. And I want that. But yeah, that's interesting. It's really cool. Awesome. Awesome.
But that was a good conversation. So the thing I did a Kickstarter lifted for Supers. I'm using Champions for it.
Yeah.
But what I would like to do is move it into an OSR engine, right? But I think your concerns, the game is different, right? Because you put it in a different system. And I think what Mateus and Free League have done is as close as Simba Room original is to 5th edition in mechanics. There's some differences.
Yeah.
And they are taking those differences into account. So even though they're moving the setting over, they're not compromising the mechanics and they're not compromising too much of the system. So you will get a different gameplay than you would in original Simba Room, right?
Oh man, you're gonna make
so
me back that damn Kickstarter. You're gonna make me back it.
I already have. It was so I love when folks do that. When you take a thing and I move it from this setting, this system to another system, right? I expect the gameplay to be different, but it should honor both, right? And push both, right?
Yeah.
And they did that. And in my podcast we talk about that. And I love when folks do that, when that occurs, when that happens, because you end up with a different game.
Yeah. 4 days left of this thing.
I do a little bit of that with Bicer's Life, right? In Burning Wheel, it is a very Burning Wheel game.
Yeah.
But in Dungeon World, it plays differently. Right?
Oh, totally.
And so, so we made we did Dungeon World things with the Acer setting that you don't do in Burning Wheel, right?
Right.
And so the settings are made for those systems, and they're doing that with Simba Room, and I think that's fantastic. I like that.
Nice.
He's also a Twilight 2000 nerd, which is fantastic too.
Oh, so. Nice.
Yeah, because they're working on that too.
Yeah. I think that Kickstarter is come and gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a game that like I would see the ads for it in Dragon, but the group I played with as a teenager just never got it. Or never physically got it. Like I don't think they, just no one purchased it. So it just wasn't one of the games that hit the table for me. But I know a lot of people have a lot of love for it. So
yeah,
interesting. Heroic Logic, the Kickstarter. If you put in your search terms right now, Kickstarter and Symborum, and I'll put that in the what I think is the spelling for Symborum.
I know I always have to look.
Yeah. OUM. Yeah. If you put the Symborum and Kickstarter, that Kickstarter is currently going, and that's the 5th edition one that Jay has come very dangerously close to talking me into by backing. And then the other Kickstarter we were talking about was Twilight 2000, which has already come and gone. I believe that's already done. So, it's free league, so you'll have access to it when it comes out. Yep. But cool.
So I have those two on Diceology.
Yeah.
I will record many of the Champions games that we run for Lifted, and that'll go out. So
cool.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be a good ad for Lifted. Yeah. It's funny. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who does not know you and doesn't know that we like. He knows that we know each other, but he was like, I saw that Kickstarter, and I was like, oh, cool. I backed it. It looks really awesome. And he was like, I couldn't because I'm so opinionated about 90s superheroes that I wouldn't think that anyone else could get it right. And I thought that was just a really like. That's a story I will tell now that your Kickstarter is well over, because it's funny as hell. But I just thought it was really funny that, like, of course, everyone in our generation has like strong opinions about, Robert, my friend Robert, has really strong opinions on 90s comics, and
yes.
We should talk about that a little more. He asked me if he could be on Daydreaming About Dragons. So maybe not the next one or the next one after that, but eventually in the next couple months, he and I will figure out something to get together and talk about. And he and I have been gaming. He was on RPGNet, in 2002 or so, and we found out that we were both in Ithaca, and so we ended up gaming together and meeting. It was one of my first someone I know online, and I make a real friend out of them relationships. So, nice. It was one of those things where like, it was still weird. It was still like, where are you going tonight? I'm going to a party from a friend that I met on a game forum. And like, now I feel like, if I said that to, Johnny, she'd be like, yeah, of course you are. Yeah, that's totally makes sense. Yeah. As long as the COVID stuff is over, that makes total sense that you'd be doing that. But back then it was like, I if I'm not back in 4 hours, like, call the police.
Right,
I'm just not sure if this is going to work.
I will call you when I get there. Yeah, right? And I'll call you an hour later.
I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous. And yeah, it turned out like, we've been friends for almost, more than 2 decades. And I was at his wedding and
wow,
a bunch of stuff. And I can't wait to meet his kids and all this other lovely stuff. But it was a long time ago. And anyway, 90s comics, your awesome Kickstarter, good stuff. And is there a link to buy that stuff? Like, can they get your zine somewhere?
Will. So I will give you the link to the Kickstarter. I'm working on Backer Kit.
Okay.
Because I will turn that on, and then you can do pre-order stuff from there.
Got it. Okay, so that'll be coming someday. Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
There it is.
Good stuff.
I will dump the Kickstarter link in down here.
Yep, that should do it. And we're both mods, so you can actually put links right into the actual play thing too.
Oh no, you're right. Yes.
Awesome. Thanks for this. This was a lot of fun. I never get to play Sorcerer, as I said, and it is one of my favorites. I love the way the dice work, and I'm curious.
I love the dice. Yes.
Yeah, and I now I want to go back and kind of reread it, and I think it's got enough interesting stats that there are like interesting ways to make, and I think also as we have gotten better at figuring out how to use dice to learn what
Right.
we want to learn, when
Right.
we want, I think, I think it's a really interesting game. I think there's a lot there, and so it's cool. I'm glad we're playing it, and to be playing it in this weird ass book that I wrote. Uh, 16 years ago, my little teenager
I
finally
don't
gets
remember when I picked it up. I think it was around the first Burning Wheel cons.
okay.
But I remember it was before I met you, and I think I met you in person at one of the Burning Wheel cons. But I
Okay,
remember
nice.
flipping through it, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that is genius, right? You've got a whole setting in here, and it's laid out like a dictionary. And
Right.
I know it's called Dictionary of Moo, but it's
Yeah,
actually laid
yeah,
out like a dictionary, and I could jump around anywhere in here, and it just
yeah,
blew my head open. I'm like, this is
yeah.
fantastic.
Thank you.
And then,
It was totally because I was a rookie setting designer and I wanted structure. So I was like, okay, I'll write 3 A's and I'll try to get like, I've got these things that I know I want to write. So I'll plug
right,
those in, and then I'll like, all right, what letters don't I have yet? And so it gave me a structure because otherwise it's like, write about a world, go. And
right,
you're like, where
go,
do I start? And
right,
so this gave me a structure and it gave me a voice, because I had the dictionary writer, and yeah, I did not reread it. I reread the entries on the con, and I reread the entries on the red waste, and like, I don't remember everything. Someone just literally messaged me on Indie Games Reading Club, and said, we've, in one part of the dictionary it says this, and another part it says this. Like, is it incorrect? And I wanted to be like, I think I just didn't reply because I was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't looked at this
I
thing
don't
in
know.
years. I have no idea. You think I just memorized? I did not.
Right.
And like part of the point is that like that Agma, son of Agma, who is the author, in-game author, is that the stuff that's written in books is less important than the stuff that we say at the table.
Right.
And like he says that 20 different ways in the book, and
Right.
yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to be saying something at the table. I've run it. I've run it at cons a couple times, which is always fun, but I like long play. So at a
Yeah.
con, I'm
Yeah.
always like, this was fun. 2 sessions from now would have been like 10 times more fun. Like,
Right. Right.
like then we would have really been cooking out with gas, or
Yeah.
our when we get to our second kicker, that's when things would have been nuts.
Right.
And so I'm curious it's cool to be able to play it longer term. I literally haven't played a long-term game of it since I kickstarted it, or since I play tested it, not kicks. I've never kickstarted anything, God forbid. I don't think that'd be good for my mental health. Bless all of you who do Kickstarters. I don't know how you do it. And uh, and yeah, so I haven't done a game of it since then. And it was with my friends Robert and Paula 1,000 years ago, and so it's cool to be playing a game of it again. So yeah, let's do this again. This was fun.
Done
Thank you
deal. I'm in,
for
man.
cool, awesome, and we will. Yeah, thanks everybody for stopping by and for joining us. This was Sorcerer, Dictionary of Moo. I guess what will be called Once Upon a Time on Mard. And Once Upon a Time in Mard, there was a young man named Marduk, and he picked up a sword. Thanks, Pat. I'm glad you liked the post game chat. It's always fun to talk to Jay, and it's super fun to talk about our projects and
Yeah.
what we're making and what we're playing. So yeah, I'm glad we got to share all that. And I think I'm going to cut to thanks for watching, and then you'll all still be able to hear us for a couple minutes, and then after I thank all of you in the chat, I'll end the broadcast. So thank you all for coming, and I appreciate y'all, and We will see you soon. You can watch. You can. Our links are in the chat, so you can find us on Twitter, and we will post up when we're gonna play again and when we figure out our schedules, because actual play schedule is getting super busy. I know that there's yeah, and I can tell that I'm happy with my play because Sean was like, oh, we've got a Burning Wheel game going, and my first instinct wasn't, I'm not playing in it. What I was just happy for him. I was just like, yay!
Right.
Like
Yay.
I can't wait to watch it. I love watching. No, Blades in the Dark, not Burning Wheel. It was a Blades in the Dark game. He's like, yeah, we've got a Blades in the Dark game going, and my first thought wasn't, but I'm not playing in that game. It was. I can't wait to watch that. That's a really cool cast. You've got group posse of gamers you've got together, and that'll be really cool. So and you've got Niborum going.
Right, Thursday night, yeah.
Awesome. Is that going to be going for a while? Do you know, like, is it?
So the plan is, I think these guys are in for 5 sessions.
Okay.
And then, like we usually do, about the 4th or 5th session, we'll have a conversation behind the scenes. Are we going to play 3 more, 2 more? Is this it? But I think those guys are in, so this could run a little long.
Awesome.
Which is good, because we're all new to it.
Yeah.
So the pilot episode is a little rocky, but having done it, I feel good about where we're going and what we're doing. So I think it gets better after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that'll be Thursday nights, yeah, and that could run a little long. So
awesome. There's nothing like, I don't know, long-term campaigns.
Yeah.
There's something special, like the way that they build vocabulary and a common sense of place and friendship is like there's nothing else like it. And I don't know if there was a more fun thing to be doing, I would be doing it. And you
and me both.
I can't figure it out. A relative of mine, I explained what gaming was, and they said, why would anyone do that? And I was like, because I can't find anything more fun to do. That's why. It's so much fun. Right. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. The thanks for watching is going up, and then we'll still be kind of behind the scenes because our new setup is, while delightful, a little weird, and then we'll cut off. So thank you all very much.